Have you ever trusted someone so completely, only to find out it was all a house of cards? That's exactly what happened to Jason. He thought he had it all with Mia. They were the picture-perfect couple, or so it seemed. They'd been together for 5 years, lived in a cozy apartment, and were even talking about getting a dog, the whole 9 yards. Jason was head over heels, truly believing Mia was his soulmate. He loved her smile, the way she'd crinkle her nose when she laughed, and how she'd steal his fries when she claimed she wasn't hungry. To him, their love was a fortress, unshakable and real. But lately something had felt. Mia was becoming distant. Her phone, which used to be left on the coffee table, was now glued to her hand, screen down. Late-night work emergencies became more frequent, and her excuses for being home late were getting more and more elaborate. Jason tried to brush it off. He told himself he was just being insecure, that he needed to trust her more. After all, Mia always had a logical explanation. She'd kiss him, tell him he was being silly, and for a moment, he'd believe her. He wanted to believe her. He loved her so much that the thought of her betraying him was just too painful to even consider. The fortress of their love started showing cracks. Mia would get defensive if Jason asked simple questions about her day. Texts from a new colleague named Alex kept popping up at all hours. Jason asked who Alex was. Mia would get flustered, saying he was just a friend from work, that Jason was being paranoid. She'd turn it around on him, making him feel guilty for even asking. This emotional manipulation was her specialty. She made Jason question his own sanity. A classic gaslighting technique that left him confused and apologetic, even though he had done nothing wrong. He started to feel like he was walking on eggshells in his own home. The late nights continued, and the excuses got flimsier. One night, Mia claimed she had a company dinner and would be home late. Jason, feeling a gnawing suspicion he could no longer ignore, decided to do something he never thought he'd do. He called the restaurant she mentioned. It had no record of a company booking. A cold dread washed over him. He then called her best friend Sarah, under the pretense of planning a surprise for Mia. Sarah, unaware of the situation, casually mentioned that Mia had been spending a lot of time with her new friend, Alex. The pieces of the puzzle were falling into place, and the picture they were forming was devastating. The breaking point came on a rainy Tuesday evening. Mia said she was going to a yoga class. An hour later, Jason got a notification on their shared tablet, a photo backup from Mia's phone. His heart sank as he opened it. It was a picture of Mia and Alex, not in a yoga studio, but in a fancy hotel room, clinking champagne glasses. They were smiling, looking at each other with an intimacy that was reserved only for him. The date stamp was from that very night. The lie was so blatant, so disrespectful. There was no more room for doubt, no more excuses to hide behind. The fortress had crumbled, and all that was left was the rubble of a 5-year relationship built on lies. The pain was sharp and immediate, but underneath it, a different feeling began to smolder. A cold, hard resolve. For a few days, Jason was a ghost. He went through the motions of life, but his heart felt like a lead weight in his chest. The betrayal cut deeper than he could have imagined. Every shared memory was now tainted. He looked at photos of them smiling, and all he could see was the lie behind her eyes. He felt foolish, naive, and completely broken. He replayed every conversation, every excuse, and saw the red flags he had so willingly ignored. The anger started to bubble up, replacing the initial shock and pain. How could she do this? After everything they had been through? The love he once felt had curdled into a bitter mix of fury and disappointment.
But Jason wasn't the type to just wallow in misery.
As the initial storm of emotion passed, something else took its place. A steely determination. He wasn't going to let her get away with this. He wasn't going to let her walk away unscathed after shattering his world. He deserved more than a tearful, drama-filled confrontation. He deserved justice. An idea began to form in his mind. A plan for revenge. It wasn't about hurting her physically or emotionally in the same way she hurt him. It was about exposing her lies, not with anger, but with cold, hard facts. He decided he would give her a taste of her own medicine, publicly. His plan was simple, yet brilliant. Mia's birthday was just a few weeks away, and she had been planning a huge party, inviting all their friends and family. It was meant to be a celebration of her, and she had been meticulously planning every detail. This party, Jason realized, was the perfect stage. He continued to play the part of the loving, unsuspecting boyfriend. He helped her with the party preparations, listened to her talk about the decorations and the guest list, all while his heart felt like a block of ice. It was the hardest thing he'd ever had to do, faking smiles and affection for the woman who had betrayed him so completely. But every fake smile fueled his resolve. The day of the party arrived. Their apartment was filled with people, friends, family, colleagues. Mia was glowing, the center of attention in a beautiful new dress. She floated around the room, accepting compliments and gifts, completely oblivious to the storm that was about to break. Jason watched her. A calm resolve settled over him. He made sure their shared big-screen TV, the one they usually used for movie nights, was connected to his laptop. He had prepared a special birthday slideshow, or so he told everyone. Mia, beaming, gathered everyone around, thinking it was a romantic tribute. "Before we cut the cake," Jason announced, his voice steady, "I've put together a little something for the birthday girl." Mia squeezed his hand, whispering, "Oh, you're so sweet." The room quieted down, and all eyes turned to the screen. The slideshow began innocently enough, with photos of their early days, happy vacations, and family gatherings. Friends and family awed at the sweet memories. Mia was loving it, smiling from ear to ear. Then the music changed. The tone shifted. The next slide was a screenshot of a text exchange between Mia and Alex, full of flirty messages and plans to meet up. A confused murmur rippled through the crowd. Before Mia could react, the next slide appeared. It was the photo from the hotel room, the one that had confirmed everything, now displayed for all to see. The room fell into a stunned silence. You could have heard a pin drop. Mia's face went from beaming to ghostly white in a split second. Her smile vanished, replaced by a look of pure horror. The final slide was simple. It was a screenshot of the restaurant's booking page showing no reservation for her company dinner, and a calendar marking all the nights she was supposedly working late. The evidence was undeniable, laid bare for everyone they knew to witness. Jason turned to face Mia. He didn't shout, didn't cry. He simply said, with a calm, chilling finality, "The party's over." "Mia, so are we." He then looked at the crowd of shocked faces and said, "I'm sorry you all had to see this, but I think it's time for everyone to go home." Without another word, he walked into the bedroom, packed a pre-prepared bag, and walked out of the apartment, leaving Mia standing alone in the middle of her own wreckage. The silence was deafening, broken only by the quiet shuffling of guests making a hasty exit, avoiding eye contact with the woman who had just been publicly exposed. Walking out into the cool night air, Jason felt a strange sense of relief. It wasn't happiness, not yet, but it was a release. He had taken back control. He hadn't stooped to her level of lies and manipulation. Instead, he had used the truth as his weapon. The next few weeks were tough. He had to deal with the fallout, the awkward phone calls from mutual friends, and the process of separating their lives. But with each passing day, he felt stronger. He had stood up for himself and refused to be a victim. Months later, Jason was in a much better place. He had moved into a new apartment, focused on his career, and reconnected with friends he had neglected. He learned that Mia and Alex didn't last. Apparently, a relationship built on deceit doesn't have a very strong foundation. Who would have thought? Jason even got that dog he always wanted, a goofy golden retriever named Buddy. Sometimes, when he was out playing fetch with Buddy in the park, he'd think about what happened. He didn't feel anger anymore, just a distant sense of pity. He learned a valuable lesson about trust and self-worth. His revenge wasn't just about exposing Mia. It was about reclaiming his own story, closing a painful chapter, and starting a new one on his own terms. And that was the sweetest revenge of all. Thanks for watching, and if you have a story of your own, share it in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content.